Hi everyone, and welcome to your sixth session in learning Angular 2, along with me. Now, in the previous session, I went through this little example here where we set up a service to fetch this information in this, I guess you call it a list, and then still make it work with the binding down the bottom. So if I change this, it does this, and so on and so forth. Alright, and it binds there. And go back, I can remove that 4, add it back, all kinds of stuff. And it's all, working, right? However, as of recent, Angular went from beta version to a release candidate. So in that time, what actually happened was a lot of packages were updated and renamed. So in the package.js, package.json, sorry, I noticed that in the original one we were looking at, if you look at it here, we've got some dependencies, and that was Angular2, which was 2.0.0-beta.17. We had system.js, we had ECMAScript 6 shim, we had reflect metadata. All these things were fetched by the Node package manager and stored in this Node modules folder. Not this one, sorry. In the quick start Node modules folder. Along with a bunch of others that were dependencies of that one, right? However, since then, they've decided to add more packages and rename some packages. So if you now look down here again, before I do that, I'll just go back to Tour of Heroes up here in the Finder. If you look down here again, now they've added a whole new set of dependencies. So now they've got an @Angular/comment, @Angular/compiler, @Angular/core, and you'll see that the versions are all 2.0.0-release candidate. So basically, they're getting very close to releasing this out. But when I tried to run the application from the previous examples, it crashed. So one of the things I had to update was I had to update this package.json file, and then I had to remove, up in the folder, I had to remove this node_modules folder, I had to remove the typings folder, I then had to update this index.html file to use new JavaScript files that they included as part of their quick start. So in the quick start, they actually renamed everything, and they basically added all new libraries and different targets and all that kind of stuff. So basically, I had to come in, update this file here, and then basically run Node Package Manager again to fetch down all the new dependencies. And also before I did that, I had to update this tsconfig file as well, which had a module of system.js, then they changed it to common.js. So I had to change that file as well before I did the Node Package Manager install. So that's what needed to be done in order to get the right libraries down. Then I had to update this file, this index file, with whatever's in here now. Before it was specifying where our application started in this file. They've now moved it to a system.js.configuration or system.js.config.js file. So this file is completely brand new, and basically what it's saying is that in this first section where we've got the map, this is saying I want to map my current application to the app folder. Okay, so whenever it sees an import for app, which you see in the index here, it's saying go look in a folder called app, which is relative to where this file is currently loaded. So you see at the moment system.js.config.js is here. What's relative to it is that app folder, so it'll look in here, right? That's what that's doing. A few others, which are RxJS. I'm not sure what all these are at this stage. The important one is @Angular. That's referenced a lot now in the TS files. So that's now pointing to node_modules Angular. Then it goes through and grabs a list of packages, or specifies a list of packages. One of them being app, and saying for the app folder, the default or the main execution is this file, main.js, and the default extension is obviously JS in this case. Same for RxJS, same for that, and so on and so forth. Then it goes and says, here's all the dependencies I want for my Angular.js program or my Angular2 program. Specifies the package names, gives them all, they're all defaulted to an index.js file by default when they're loaded. And then basically this config comes down here, and eventually it sets all this configuration in place. So whenever we request Angular or at Angular/core, it knows where to look for the file. And that's essentially what this file now does. It basically handles all the dependency injection of all the libraries. Okay? This is a brand new file. I decided to extract it in here. But other than that, most of what we've written so far is the same. The only difference in the TS files is how we've referenced the Bootstrap library, which is now part of at Angular/platform-browser-dynamic. So that'd be the browser bootstrapper. And also the main app component, obviously now, no, that's fine, that's still in the same place. However, in app component, if we want to access the component decorator and the on-init interface, they're now in the at Angular/core instead of Angular2/core like it used to be. And that's pretty much it. Like the rest of the code is pretty much the same. You know, you get heroes, from the service and all that. So you've seen all this before. So there's nothing much else to add there. The other thing I want to say as well, as part of my previous sessions, is I think in the first two sessions, it's very hard for you guys to read what I'm writing or what I'm reading. I didn't realize this when I was recording, that I needed to zoom in at that point in time, just because I didn't realize that the resolution of this screen was so big that if I don't zoom in, you guys can't read anything. So from now on, I'll be spending more time zooming in on what I'm reading so you guys can read it as well. I have been doing that for the last few videos. Again, at that time I still didn't know that zooming in was such a huge factor on you guys, but that's what I'll be doing from now on. So hopefully that will help you guys out in trying to follow what I'm doing. And the last thing I want to say as well before we get started is, please, if you're going to watch these videos and you actually enjoy the content, subscribe. It really helps me out, and because what I eventually want to do with all these library videos is I want to create multiple collections of videos for you guys, and I want to actually put them up on my own site, and I want to distribute it to you guys via mobile and all these different kinds of systems, so that you can watch it from wherever you want to watch it, rather than just always having to come and watch it on YouTube. So, but to do that, I need to know that this is worth doing. At this stage, I'm not getting a lot of traction, so if this is something I don't feel like it's going to be working, I'm going to have to obviously hold up and stop. But for the ones who are really keen on learning this stuff with me, please subscribe and share with your friends and do all those other things, because it really helps me out and gets me to understand that this is something that I should be doing. Okay? Alright, let's get to it. I'm now going to start on the next phase of the tutorial, which is the last bit of the main tutorial, which is routing. So we're going to go through this and see what it says, and try and re-implement what they say here. So we've got routing around the app. We received new requirements for our Tour of Heroes application. We need to add a dashboard view, navigate between the heroes and dashboard views. When we click on a hero in either view, it navigates to a details view of the selected hero, and then clicking a deep link in an email opens the detail view for a particular hero. Okay. So when we're done, users will be able to navigate the app like this. So we've got a little bit of routing going on there between different redirection paths. Okay. So dashboard, heroes. Click on dashboard, it always goes to the dashboard. Click on heroes, it always goes to tour of heroes. Right. And tour of heroes details page. Click the back button will either go back to the dashboard page or the heroes page, depending on where it came from. And that's also mentioned in the view details for tour of heroes. If you click on that, you click back, it'll go back to tour of heroes. If I click on a box, it'll give me the details, and then if I click back, it'll also go back to the dashboard. So, right, it seems to be reasonable enough to understand. Don't know if it's the best UI in the world, but it does explain routing, I guess. But I guess the point of this is not to have UI. So, where we left off, well, I know that all my stuff is now there. So, as I said, this file wasn't here before, this one here. And a bunch of node modules were all different. And obviously the main index.html is very different, as well as some of the library references. So we're gonna do a start. Yep, done that already. So you can see over here I've already started it. So it's all ready to go. The only thing we haven't done so far, which I might leave open, is open up the code. So what's our first plan? Action plan is we're going to turn app component into an application shell that only handles navigation. Okay. We're going to relocate the heroes concerns within the current app component to separate the heroes component. Okay. So we're removing the list. So if I open up app component, let's have a look at this again. So I can get myself, so app.component.ts. So in here at the moment, we've still got the My Heroes template. So that, I think that's what they're saying, is we're going to extract that out into its own component and then reference it again. Now, it's been a few days since I've looked at this, so I'm going to be a little bit rusty in remembering this stuff, but we'll give it a crack. So, and then after that, we're going to add some routing to this file. So this file here, we're going to add some routing. Create a new dashboard component. Okay, so that's a whole new view. Tie the dashboard into the navigation structure. Okay. And I thought there'd be more to it than that. Okay, well, we'll see how they do it. So we're going to go for the first step, which is splitting the app component. Our current app loads app component and immediately displays a list of heroes. So that's this here. So that's where we're at the moment. Our revised app should present a shell with a choice of views, dashboard and heroes, and then default to one of them. The app component should only handle navigation. Let's move the display of heroes out of the app component and into its own heroes component. Okie dokie. So, heroes component. App component is already dedicated to heroes. Instead of moving anything out of app component, we just need to rename it heroes component and create a new app component shell separately. Okay. So first thing is we're going to rename the app.component.ts to heroes.component.ts. So let's do that. App to heroes.component.ts. Right, got that. Now that's going to cause a recompile. My app's now not going to work, I would think. Still works. How does it still work? I removed the app.component file. Ah, it doesn't remove the JS file. Right, okay. So when I rename the file, it doesn't remove this file. It just recompiles the heroes component one. Right, okay, so that's fine. Okay, and then rename app component to heroes component. So if I open up the heroes component now and dump that in here, And then here, they're calling it app component. I'm going to call it heroes component. Makes sense. And rename the selected from my app to my heroes. There we go. So next, the next thing we're doing is we create app component. So I'm going to create a new file, and we'll save that as app.component.ts. So we're going to import. I'm trying not to look at this. So we're going to import the component decorator first. We're going to do that from, now the thing's changed, so it's now add Angular/core. Yep, that seemed to work. And I still need, what do I still need here? I need the new heroes component. So that heroes component we just created from /, I'm going to call it heroes .component. There we go. And now what we want to do is we're going to create a component decorator. We've got an object literal in there. We'll escape that like that. And we want the selector here because we still want to use the index.html, the current one, which was called, so it's called my app. And the template will now be something a little bit similar. So we need that tick thingy to do it. And we'll go H1. So remember we had a title, which should come from here, I would think. Again, I'm trying not to look at the screen over there, guys. I know you might think that I am, but I'm actually not. And then, so let's go back and have a look at this. So what I want to do is I want to remove this, delete that. And what did I give the name of this? I want to give it a name. Where did I put the name? Select the My Heroes. Alright, so select the My Heroes is there. So we go My Heroes / My Heroes. And I believe that's all I needed for this template. Oops. So end it with that ticky thing. Right, that's it, isn't it? It's just taking a look over here. No, it's not. What am I missing here? So, we need the directives. We need to use the heroes component as the directive because we need to tell this. So we need to tell the my-heroes element how to resolve itself, and the heroes component does that. And as part of that, we also need to pass in a provider, which is the one that populates the heroes component, which is the hero service. So we're injecting the hero service in there. Right. And now we need to export a class, and we're going to call it app component. And then under here we go title, because we have a title up there. equals, I think, tour of heroes is what we called it. And that's it. And I didn't pass in hero service up here, so I have to pass that in here. Import hero service from now start slash hero what's it called, hero.service. Yep, so that's the app component one. Now I need to go down to here, and I don't need to, I still need that, but I don't need to pass it as a provider anymore. Nor I need to pass, I need to pass the details. So I need a directive there, but I don't need that service. That service will be injected through. So now that that's there. So by rights, if I've done this right, which I probably haven't, because I'm still getting used to the language, but I've now got an app component that's now using a hero service and a heroes component, which resolves to my heroes. My heroes is there. It then has this template, which has my hero detail, has some styles. It's still referring to the my hero detail using the hero detail component as a directive. So that's passed through. Then it injects a hero service, which is resolved up in here as a provider. So it should be a one-time hero service injection. And then once we've done that, we can use it to get the heroes. And we get the heroes on ng on init, and then when somebody selects it, we just get the hero and we set that to a selected hero. So hopefully, if I've done this right, and this all compiles, and I now go have a look, there should be no difference. So let's refresh. So it still loads. I still click it, and it still works. I try to do the binding, that still works. Good. Nice. Well, I just did that mostly without looking at what I needed to write. So that's just based off the information I know from the last couple of sessions, as well as just the digging around and trying to fix the references from when they changed the libraries recently. So that's good. Okay. Now, let's just cover this again. The initial steps are app component, define app component, exports have been referenced at using main.ts, yep. Expose the title, probably done that. Add a component metadata decorator above the class with a my app selector, done that. Add a template, yep, did that. Add the my heroes tag, did that. Add the heroes component to the directives array, yep, did that. Add the heroes service to the providers array because we'll need it for every other view, yep, did that. Add the supporting import statements. Wow, let's have a look. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're the same ones I've got here. Yeah, they are. And for this one, I need all those. Yep. Okay. So far, so good, guys. So that's version 1 of this app.component.ts file now. So just slow scroll past that. So what does it say here? Remove hero service from heroes component providers. Go back to the heroes component and remove the hero service from its providers array. Yeah, I already did that. We are promoting this service from the heroes component to the app component. We do not want 2 copies of this service, 2 different levels of our app. Yep. So I've done that. That propagated down and it worked. Okay, so now here we go. Now we get to the point where we're adding routing. We're ready to take the next step. Instead of displaying heroes automatically, we'd like to show them after the user clicks a button. In other words, we'd like to navigate to the list of heroes. We need the Angular component router. Okay. Open up index.html and add base href equals / at the top of the head section. Wow, base element. Not really used that often, but okay. So I'll go up to my index and I'll whack this in down here. Put it to the front. So they're telling me under the head, base href equals. Let's copy it here. They're saying literally under here. Paste. Ah, why? Alright, so, whoop. So they're saying include that. Now that must be just setting up the base routing URL, I guess. So yeah, the default screen is slash. Alright, I won't look at the router chapter just yet to see why that matters. Make the router available. The component router is a service, okay? Like any service, we have to import it and make it available to the application by adding it to the provider's array. Yep, okay. The Angular router is a combination of multiple services. Router providers, multiple directives, router directives, and a configuration decorator route config. We'll import them all in together. Rightio. Interestingly, if you look at the code here, it says deprecated. I wonder if they're changing this. But for now, let's just include it. So back to app.component. I'm going to put under this first import. We're going to import so a route config, router directives. So I'm assuming that goes into here. Yep. And router providers, which I assume goes into here. Okay. From Angular / router dash deprecated. So next we update the directives provider. And now they're saying the heroes component is not here. Oh. So they've removed the heroes component directive because we're not loading it straight away. So I delete that and I have router directives as well as my providers are hero service and router providers. Okay, got it. Haven't seen any. So that's this bit here and this bit here, which I've covered. Now that we've removed the heroes component from the directives array, app component no longer shows heroes. That will be the router's job. We'll soon remove my heroes from the template too. So let me just refresh this, or save this, and see if the. So now we've gone back to having nothing displayed here. If I go and check more tools, I'll check the console. Okay. And we have a component. Now the other thing I want to mention to you guys soon is this augury thing. I was watching NG conference and they mentioned this augury Chrome component, but I want to mention that down the line because I just want to learn the actual language itself right now. But yeah, I'd suggest if you haven't watched the NG conference, start watching it. I'm just trying to watch like an hour every night. You know, it's a very long conference, and you know, obviously we're all got full-time jobs, so you know, I don't want to spend too much time looking at those things. But if you can try and get an hour a night looking at it, it's pretty good. So, right, okay. So next, add and configure the router. The app component doesn't have a router yet. We'll use the route config decorator to simultaneously assign a router to the component and configure the router with routes. Routes tell the router which views to display when the user clicks a link or pastes a URL on the browser address bar. Let's define our first route, a route to the heroes component. So they've got a decorator called a route config, so that route config up here is actually a decorator. So they must have that. Where do they have that? where do they put it? There's an array of route definition. We only have one route definition, but rest assured there'll be one more. Let's say, no, it doesn't mention. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it here because I reckon it might work if I put it here. So at route config. So what do we got here? So we got path. So this is new stuff to me. So we're saying the path heroes, and we give you the name of heroes. And the component that's used for this route is the heroes component. Is that how it works? Why is it red? Do I have to specify a comment here? No. Array config. Oh, it's an array. Okay, my bad. It's an array of objects. Let's do it a little bit more cleaner. So that's the first route. So full path, if we go to my browser and go /heroes, we'll hit the heroes component. Okay. So anything else we need to do? So the path that route matches this route to your other browser. So if you put that in the browser, yep. Official name of the route must begin with capital letter and avoid confusion with the path heroes. Alright, so okay. Yep. Component. Yep, okay. Route outlet. If we paste the path /heroes in the browser address bar, the router should match it to the heroes route and display heroes component, but where? We have to tell it where by adding the router outlet marker tag at the bottom of the template. Router outlet is one of the router directives. The router displays each component immediately below the router outlet as we navigate through the application. Router links. We don't expect users to paste a route URL into the address bar. We add an anchor tag to the template to which, when clicked, triggers navigation to the heroes component. The revised template looks like this. Alright, you see that, guys? Okay. So H1 title we already have. Now we used to have a my-heroes here, but it looks like now we've got to use this router outlet as an output of the location where it is. So I'm going to add that first. Right, because I want to test without putting the link in there. I want to test if this works. So let's go save. Let the thing compile. Cool. We go back up here. I'm going to go /heroes. And there we go. If I now go back here, we get nothing. Right, okay. So now, if we put in the router link as they say, which is another, looks like it's another directive of the router directives, you know, thing that's exported or exported out, which is probably just a variable name. So now we go href, no, router link, which is bound, okay, router link equals, so in quotes, single quotes heroes. Now I'm assuming that's the name of the route, like that, and then heroes, anchor tag. So just double check to make sure this works, which it should. Alright, if I click the link now, yep, okay. So, and that stays at the top there. Oh yeah. Gotcha. So now if I go in and change this to Heroes 2 and go save, nothing happens here. But this is Heroes. Interesting. Doesn't even give you the link. So this really blew it up. Oh, wait a minute. Tour of Heroes. So I get Heroes 2. So what's the markup here? Guys, I'm literally just playing around. So it's the anchor tag. So it's not actually binding. If I change the name of the route path, it doesn't bind anything. Not just that particular property. It must blow up and get console errors. Yeah, there you go. Our component has no route named hero, so it literally crashes. Okay. Well, it's nice to know. So get your routes right, guys, otherwise your application crashes. So there's the dash router link binding in an anchor tag. We bind the router link directive, another of the router directives to the array. Tells the router where to navigate, and the user clicks the link. We define a routing instruction with the link parameters array. Link parameters array, yep. The array has only one element in our little sample. The quoted name of the route to follow. Looking back at the route configuration, we confirm that heroes is the name of the route of the heroes component. So we're fetching it by name. When we use router link, we're fetching it by name of route. Okay. Got that? Don't hit that, refresh the browser. Yeah, we did all this. We could do heroes navigation link and brown bars. Yep, done all that as well. This is only the first step, guys. There's a lot. This one's going to be a very big one. Okay, at this stage, our component looks like this. Yep. Essentially, that's what I've got. Yep. The out component is now attached to the router and displaying router views. For this reason, and to distinguish it from other kinds of components, we call this type of component a router component. Okay. Our dashboard. Routing only makes sense when we have multiple views. We need another view. Create a placeholder dashboard component that gives us something to navigate to and from. Okay. Save as dashboard.component.ts. And we're going to import the component, obviously, from Angular2. And now we're going to specify the component decorator. It's not an array, it's just an object. And we're going to put a selector. There's my dashboard. According to what they say. And then we have a template. Oops. And then underneath that, we're not going to have a semicolon. We're going to have export class. What is it? Dashboard component. And for now, we'll just have that. So now I just need the name of the contents. That'll be H3 all of it. Yep, my dashboard. 3. Right, so that's what they've got at the moment over there. So just save that, so I know with it. So by rights I'm gonna have to import this dashboard component. I'm thinking ahead of the curve here. So I've got a heroes component, I'm probably gonna need to import the import dashboard component from what do they call it? Dashboard component. Then I reckon I'm going to create another route. And again, I'm just guessing here, guys. Path / dashboard. I'm assuming that's what they're going to call it. The name's probably going to be called dashboard. And the component will be my dashboard component. And for now, I'm going to leave that and see what they say over here because I have not checked. And what do you know? We'll come back in a minute and make this more useful, right? So that's there. And look, configure the dashboard route. Path, dashboard / dashboard, dashboard. Now it's just use as default. It's true. I don't have that there. So that's a new thing that I'm learning. Use as default equals true. That must be like the default thing that comes up. So if I now go and have a look, do I now refresh? This is my dashboard at this stage, but oh yeah, I'll go. This is my dashboard. And still the heroes link there. Oh yeah. So what if I was to, guys, I'm just playing around here. Like this is how, sometimes you just gotta work out how things work. So if I now can set use as default here, instead of down there, does that mean that the list will be the first thing that pops up? No. It doesn't seem right to me. That should have probably, oh wait a minute, why is it still coming? So if I do that, yeah. So it's going to the automatic. Yeah, okay. Yeah, got it. I understand. So that's a way of redirecting to, oops, redirecting to your first part of your page that you want to see. Oh, they give you that crap. You know that if I go / I mean the dashboard page. Yep. Okay, next. So what's it going to say about users default? We want the app to show the dashboard when it starts, and we want to see a nice URL in the browser address bar that says /dashboard. Remember that the browser launches with / in the address bar. We don't have a route for that path, and we'd rather not create one. Fortunately, we can add the use as default true property to the route definition, and the router will display the dashboard when the browser URL doesn't match the existing route. Oh, match an existing route. Okay, so does that mean I go /cat? No. Egg. That's not quite right. It's not technically true. They lied. Means when the default route doesn't, there's no default route match. I'm assuming that's what it means. Okay, finally add the dashboard navigation link to the template just as the heroes link. Rightio, so they've stuck it in a nav. So I'm just going to copy and paste this, because the rest of it's the same. So we'll just whack and paste this in here. What does that? Oops. And now we're going to save. Nice. Don't have any styling for it yet. Hang on a sec. Have I imported the styling into the index? Styles.css. Styles.css, so it is there. We nested the two links within the nav text. They don't do anything yet, but they will. You can restyle the link a little later in the chapter. Okay, so it's styling later. Let's spice up the dashboard by displaying the top 4 heroes at a glance. Replace the template metadata with a template URL property that points to a new template file. Nice. Okay. Dashboard.component.html. Sorry guys, I'm just getting a call. I need to stop for a moment. Okay, back guys. Sorry about that. Just work-related issues. Currently a contractor, so in between contracts at the moment. I'm just trying to get this deal signed so I can get back into work and actually making some money. Hopefully, somewhere down the line, I don't need to do that anymore. I can do what I'm doing now and enjoy what I'm doing, and make some good software myself, and basically take care of myself and my own finances through my own work. So, but at this stage, I still have to contract. So, business is business, unfortunately. So, anyway, moving on. So, where were we at? We're creating a template URL for the dashboard. So this is, cool. So this is what I was asking a little while back. I didn't want the template to be within the code itself. It just seemed like a bit of a mess. But now they do have a concept of a template URL. So it means now that I can actually go and create, and go and take that HTML code and I can dump it inside of a standard HTML file. And that's what they're doing here. So the next sets of lines down, dashboard.component.html, they're taking this. So I'm going to copy that. I'll have a look at what it does in a minute, but I'm going to save it. So file, save as, and the name of the file, and it all seems to be in the one folder, so we're going to have to look at the best standards for that as well, because I can tell you now, the best standards for Angular will not be every file's in the same folder. So, but for now, we'll just leave it as is. And I've saved it. So now let's take a look at what we've got here. We have our H3, our top hero is H3. We have this class on this div called grid-pad. Then we have the ng4, so let hero of heroes. We've seen this before. Nothing different there to the one that we have with the list, except that here on a click we have go to detail, which we haven't implemented yet, and we have a class again for this div, and then a couple more classes on a small div, and then the name of the hero. So there's a lot of CSS going on in here, not a lot of Angular except for the ng4 and the click event, the blinds of the click event, and obviously the printout of the name of the user. Oops, which I accidentally removed. Okay, but the key factor here is that we've now moved it into a template on its own, and just specified by template URL, and it'll replace anywhere it goes to my dashboard. So what have I done here to include? So I need to include in here now a heroes property, which I'm assuming is what's going to come next, and a go to detail method passing in the hero. So let's see what if I can work this out from here. So the first thing I need to do is I need to import the hero service from hero.service. Now we know that's going to be automatically injected from the root, so we don't need to pass that as a provider. And then from there we need to also include import the hero itself from hero /hero. Yep. And what else was needed for this? Let's have a look at the dashboard component. So we need a heroes property and a go to detail function. So we go into here. So we have a heroes, which is a array of hero. And then we have a function. I'm assuming we're just going to call it go to detail. So we just go to detail. Oops. Hero of type hero. Right. And then we're gonna do something inside of there. Which I mean, I'm sure we'll do some form of a route somewhere. And then we're probably gonna have a load heroes method. And I'm also thinking that we're gonna need to implement on init. As I said, I'm thinking all this ahead of time. This may be completely wrong. And we're probably also going to need a constructor, which will pass in the hero service. So hero service as a hero service. Which we probably won't do any construction there. And then there's if I remember right, there's a ng init net func. Inside of here we call load heroes. Like so. Maybe not. Why is that wrong? Did I spell it wrong? There's that ng in it. Let's have a look at ng on in it. ng on in it. Looks like I have to pass in this. Right. In this circumstance, we go heroes equals hero service dot. That's why you get heroes. And then heroes. I'm forgetting the syntax for this. It is a little arrow thing. I thought it was. This dot heroes equals heroes. No, it's probably not called get heroes. It's probably called lowercase h. And it doesn't have a heroes equals. Hero service. All the time. I'll make it private. This has to be a private. So this can change lines on the line here. Now it could be because the get heroes is done wrong. Get heroes. Oh, it's gonna be this. So it must be referring, when I type it like this, it must be referring to the class. Yeah, there we go. So this dot heroes equals heroes. Now why is this not working? So I'm calling this dot get heroes. God, I hope when I do all this and I'll look back and it's not all wrong. It'd be funny if it was all wrong. I'd be like, no. So why is this wrong now? So this dot, that's the heroes object there. Passes in heroes. I think the syntax that I've given for, looks like the syntax is wrong. That's actually the syntax. And this last one here. Ah, there we go. Cool. So I think that will load the heroes, which means now we've got our heroes, which means that let hero appear. Now I know there's probably going to be more to it, and it's going to create a lot more squares than what I want it to, because I haven't restricted it down by 4. But I just want to see if this actually works and actually gets all the heroes. So it's just me remembering how to use the hero service. So now if I go and check, I go back to the standard screen. Cool. So it does work. Again, I'm gonna need some CSS to do this. Now, I'm gonna leave it at that for now, because it's about all I know to do based on the service code that I looked at in the previous session. So now I'm gonna look at the routing stuff and see how much of this I did right and how much I did wrong. So I copied this, and we read through this, and we realized it's trying to get heroes and heroes, which we know for a fact we got the right information there. Now column 1-4. We use ng4 once again to iterate over a list of heroes and display their names. We added extra div elements to help with styling later in this chapter. There's a click binding to the go to detail method we haven't written yet, and we're displaying a list of heroes that we don't have. Now I'm just going to I'm going to console this out, because I want to make sure that I've got the binding right. Let's put clicked. Because this is what it's about, all guys. It's not just about reading. You have to understand what you're reading, and you have to be able to replicate reliably what you're reading. So if I click on one of these now, and I open up, first I'll open up the console. Right, console open down here. If I click on one of these, oh, an error. Go to detail is not a function. Ah, see, lowercase, and then that there. So I think, based on the example that they had, this should, I've got a capital T here, I need to make that a lowercase too, and refresh. And if I do it again, it's recording clicked. Awesome. Alright, so that's wired up, that's all ready to go. So going back to what they say. So I'm going to share. So in this case, we're going to share the hero service. We'd like to reuse the hero service to populate the components heroes array. Recall earlier in the chapter we removed the hero service from the providers array to the heroes component of the heroes component and added to the providers array of the app component. That's how it is going to work. Yep. That move created a singleton hero service instance available to all components of the application. We'll inject and use it here in the dashboard component. So I've got those imports. They're all the ones I've got at the top, except in my case the hero is after the hero service, but that's fine. We need on init. Yep, I added that. You saw me add that. Implement a dashboard component. Yes, I implemented that. The only thing I didn't do is make an empty array, so maybe we'll just do that now, just in case that's something that needs to be done, though I doubt it very much. Yes, then we include a constructor. Now private I forgot to add initially. That's why I had to double check the previous heroes component to find out why that service wasn't working. I had to include it as private, and then I had to include it as this in this command, referring to this object. Now the one thing I didn't do here is I didn't slice it between 1 and 5. That's the one thing I didn't do. I just said this dot heroes equals heroes. So now if I go heroes dot slice from 1 through 5, not slick, slick. I slicked it. So heroes dot slice. Now I'll go back and check. And yeah, there you go. You got 4 of them. Okay. So mostly from the first position, and then from the first position and up to the 5th position, but not including the 5th position. And then the go-to detail, which I haven't implemented yet. So from what I've written so far, guys, I wrote everything correctly except for the slice bit. That's the only bit I missed, which I knew I'd already missed anyway. I just didn't know how they were going to resolve it. We saw this kind of logic from the heroes component. Create heroes array property, inject the hero service. Yeah, okay, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th with the slice and stuff, the go-to detail, method, ready to implement. Alright, so this is the bit that I'm not sure about. Navigate to hero details. Although we display the details of a selected hero at the bottom of the hero's component, we don't yet navigate to the hero detail component in 3 ways specified in our requirements. From the dashboard to a selected hero, from the heroes list into a selected hero, from a deep link URL pasted in the browser address bar. Adding a hero detail route seems an obvious place to start. Routing to a hero detail. So we're gonna add a route to the hero detail component in the app component. Okay. So let's do that without looking again. So I'm gonna need to create a new object here. I'm gonna path of, I'm assuming it's detail. No, how's this gonna work? Because they're different. They got IDs. Anyway, I'll pass that for a minute, and then I'll give it the name of. Oh, again, what do I put there? Well, I know the component. The component is the detail. Was it detail? Christ, what did I call it? It's the hero dash detail component. No, that's the name of the file. Hero detail component. That's what I called it. Should have known that already. Rightio. No, I haven't included that in here, so I need to import that. Import hero detail component from hero dash detail component. Yep. Rightio. So how they do it? So at the moment, the parent heroes component sets the component's hero property to a hero object with a binding like this: hero detail hero equals selected hero. That clearly won't work in our range scenarios. Certainly not the last one. We can't embed an entire hero object into the URL, nor would we want to. Parameterized routes. We can add a hero's ID to the URL when routing to the hero who ID is 11. We could expect to see a URL such as this: detail/11. The detail part of the URL is constant. The trailing ID part changes from hero to hero. We need to represent that variable part of the route with a parameter or token that stands for the hero's ID. Here's the route definition we'll use. So they're going colon ID. So it goes path, and it goes detail, and do they have a slash? Yep, slash and then colon ID. And the name they've called it is hero detail, so this is, thought that had to be unique as well, but it doesn't. And then the hero detail component. Rightio, save that. Now what do? The colon in the path indicates the ID is a placeholder to be filled with a specific hero ID when navigating to the hero component, detail component. Of course you have to import that. Yep, okay. We won't add a hero detail link to the template because users don't click navigation links to view a particular hero. They click a hero whenever the hero is displayed in the dashboard or in the heroes list. We'll get to those hero clicks later in the chapter. There is no point in working with them until the hero detail component is ready to be navigated to. That will require hero to overhaul. Whoa, overhaul? Okay. Nice. So what do we got here? Before we rewrite the hero detail component, let's remember what it looks like now. Yes, so we're all passing in an input of hero, which we're passing through on the select. Hang on. Let me try and remember this too. Heroes component. We were passing through in the directive hero is a selected hero as a binding to this hero object. So that's no longer going to exist. So the input now will probably be an ID of some from some sort of location. Close that for a moment. Alright, so what does it say? So what are they saying? The template won't change. We'll display a hero the same way. The big changes are driven by how we get the hero. We'll no longer receive a hero in a parent component property binding. The new hero detail component should take an ID parameter from the Rad's route param service and use the hero service to fetch the hero. Okay. Now we've got route param service. I'm pretty sure we're already injecting that as part of the Rad providers. Rightio. So, I've got the input there like that. Oh, we're probably going to need that now. So now we're going to import the hero service and route params. So import first route params from that Angular slash router dash deprecated. This deprecated thing worries me. And then we import the hero service as we normally do. Hero service. Oops. From so we've done that. And we've got the on in it as well. So now we're going to provide a constructor down here instead of an input. So that's what it's saying. So let's go down here. So we input the on in interface because we'll call the hero service inside of ng on in component. Rightio, we inject both the route param services and the hero service. Constructor private hero service private so I'm injecting those things in and doing anything with them. And then same as before, we've got ng on init function. And so now we implement on init. C# ng on it. So here we're going to get the ID. So let ID is equal to this dot route params dot get which calls it ID in our route, assuming that's what that means. And then we're going to go this dot hero service get hero. So it looks like we're creating a new stub ID. Dot then hero. This dot hero. This hero. Now I just removed the hero, didn't I? So let's put it back up here. Hero. Hero. So the one thing now we know that we don't have is the service. The service method. So we're going to have to create that. I'm just looking at this code here. I have this. I'm wondering if it's what the plus is for. The hero ID is a number. Route parameters are always strings, so we convert the route parameter value to a number with the JavaScript plus operator. Okay. Right. That's why they're doing that. So now we just need to go to the service. What is wrong with this? Cool. Now we go and call get service. So I have a get hero method, ID of int. Oh yeah, that's right, it's a number. It's a number in JavaScript, isn't it? Not int. So get hero, and then we're going to return a promise. Resolve. Here. So first we're going to resolve the heroes. And then once we've resolved the heroes, we're going to filter them where the current hero ID is equal to the ID passed in, and we're going to get the first result. Yeah. And what I'll do is I'll put this over along too. It's not as confusing. So what I'm saying now, or what I'm saying there is, I could just call get heroes, and that's probably what I should be doing. So really, I should, basically, I should be doing this. And this dot get heroes. Because that's the same thing. And then I'm filtering it out using the first result with the filter last. Now technically I should be checking if there is no filter, that there isn't, but the ID should not be coming in with anything other than what's in the list already. But if I was doing a production code base here, I would not have an array check without checking how much or how many things are in the collection, that kind of thing. But for this, I'm just going to go via what their example is. Now that's hero filter. So that's this code down here. Now I've now brought up here. Okay, returned. So now that we've done this, we're going to find our way back. We can navigate to the hero detail component in several ways. How do we navigate somewhere else when we're done? The user could click on one of the two links in the app component, or the browser back button, or a third option, a go back method that navigates backward one step in the browser history stack. So it's in the detail component. This is the hero service. So we're going to add a method here, which is just a history back call. I'm assuming I'm going to put that in the markup here somewhere. Going back too far can take us out of the applications system. We go against it in a real application perhaps. With Lyrad can deactivate hook. Okay. Still a lot to learn. This is just the basics, but I feel like I'm only halfway through this application. So it's going to be a very big lesson for me to edit and send to you guys. Let me buy this method with an event binding to the back. Yep, okay. So we're going to put that at the bottom of the form of the ng details. Let me save that first. So now I'm going to let's have a look at what we've done so far, see if it actually loads anything. So we go from here to here. No, nothing happens yet because I haven't wired it up. Yeah, that's fine. I haven't wired this up to the new route yet. No, obviously I haven't got to that bit yet. Okay. Modifying the template to add this button spurs us into one more incremental improvement and migrate the template. Okay, yep, agreed. So now we do this. We take all of this. Hero dash detail dot component. Push them up. So hero dash detail component. Push it up. Oh, one's right there. No, that doesn't. Cool. Good. All right. So here's nearly finished hero detail component. Yep, we've got all that. Select the dashboard hero. Okay, so for each dashboard hero, so if we go into the dashboard component HTML, we go, no, that's the hero detail. Close that. Close that. Close the service. Close that. That's the app component. Heroes component. There we go. Oh, no, hang on. We're supposed to go to the dashboard. I'm supposed to keep that open as well. Dashboard. There it is. Oh, the HTML version there. God, there's so many files now in this folder. We need to get this organized at some point. That's the file I want. Go to detail. That's already all wired up. So the dashboard component one, which is here, go to detail. So what's telling us is that we have to get a link. That's called hero detail. Right, so get me the hero detail route by the way. but it also is passing an ID of hero.id. Okay, so then you go this router navigate. Okay, so I don't have it this dot router. Was I supposed to have a router? Is it part of the component? Let's do set the link parameters array. We wrote link parameters array and attribute for navigation links. Those arrays had only one element, the name of the destination route. This array has two elements, the name of the destination route and the reference object for which ID field, blah blah. Doesn't have a router yet. Okay. So that's the bit that I'm missing. Oops. So now I'm going to pass in the service. I'm going to pass in a router along with it. Okay. So now we've injected the router as a service. It's passed up through the app component here, so that should be fine. Okay. So by rights, if I load this now on the dashboard page, so I go to the main page and I click on one of these now. Nothing happened. Nothing happened, man. Was something supposed to happen there? Christ. Guys, I'm just going to quickly pause and work out what's going wrong here. Hey guys, I'm back. I found the source of my problem. Basically, what happened was inside of the hero-detail component, or the hero detail component I created, I had a template URL pointing to the wrong place. So it's supposed to have app slash. I didn't have the app slash in the front, so it was looking for hero-detail.component in the main directory, not in the app directory. And that's essentially why it wasn't loading. It couldn't find that HTML file. Yeah, sometimes silly mistakes, but now it works. So if I click here, on any of these, it goes to the thing. I click back, it goes back. Go to heroes. I click on this. Nothing still happens here yet, but that's fine. We know that already. And go back and go to heroes, and dashboard, and then there, and then back. So really the only thing I think we've got left to do is when we click one of these, it comes up with some details down here, and then you click the button. And I'll go through to this page, and then we can go back. So if I change this to magenta 3, if I go back, yeah, so it still binds to magenta 3, so it still remembers everything. Okay, good. Because the reason for that is because it's all the data at the moment is stored in the client side through a service. So it's literally just an array that's being passed around, or an object from an array that's being passed around. So that's an object from an array. And then when I change it, I'm changing the object in the array, and so when I click back, it does a rebind and everything's the same. So next, so that's that. So now this is all working. So this is where I found it, out there. It's like, silly me. So I've gone through this. We've gone and selected the dashboard hero. We've routed it through. Yep. So we added this route, remember, already? Or is this another one? The go-to detail method navigates the two steps. A set route link parameters past the arrays of the arrays navigation method. Yeah, this is the same code that we've already written. So I'm not sure what we're doing here. Oh yeah, I've already checked it. I've already done all that. Alright, so selecting a hero from the hero's component. So the hero's component is this page. I'll click here, this page. So now it no longer works when you select something, it doesn't show anything. So we'll fix that up. And I believe that's what this next bit is for. So I'll find the heroes component. .ts. We'll move the detail component for now. And the next one. So what I think they're going to do is they're going to make all this stuff get split out again, are they? So delete the last line of the template with the my-hero-details tag. Can do that. That's pretty easy. Like that. We will no longer show the full hero detail component here. We're going to display the hero details on its own page and select it as we did with the dashboard. But we'll throw in a small twist to right when the user selects a hero on the list. We won't go to the detail page. We'll show mini detail on this page instead and make the users click a button to navigate to the full details page. So add the file to the bottom of the my hero detail. Okay. So basically what they've done here is they've taken out the previous markup, and now they're saying if we do get selected here, we're still going to show something, but it's going to be part of this component, not a redirect to the other component, the detail screen. At least not yet. So if selected hero, we get selected hero.name uppercase. Alright, so this stuff already should be ready to go. The only thing we don't have is the go to detail, but it's fine. That's pretty straightforward. We already know the code to do that. So click this. I click on this, it just shows that. I click view details, nothing happens. Right? But we know, if we look back at the previous one, we need a route param. Here. So private route, we'll just call it route param. Route param. And we're going to pass that through up here. So import route param from, and I forget the name of the library already. It's definitely an Angular package. I think it's routing. Where's the where's the dashboard code? We'll just grab it from the dashboard code. I'll try and remember what that is. Where's the dashboard? There it is. That's the one. Angular2 deprecated. Let's just grab that whole one. Oh, it's not the. Oops. Sorry, that was just a little bit of keyboard fail. Now it's a router param. It's a router param. I just called router. So this should be a router. That's router. On the go to detail function. Let's try to work out this. Just trying to work out how this worked before. My memory not that good, guys. Let's go back to the dashboard. Let's have a look. This is essentially what I'm after. But this isn't going to be enough for this example. I think what I need here is just selected hero. And this will be this dot selected hero. I'm pretty sure that's all I need for this to work. I do. Look it back. Nice. Cool. Guys, we're getting very close. I mean, the only thing that's not really, the only thing that's really left to do now is to actually specify styling, I assume. I'm only going to move content out of the component file. We're not done, we still have to update the component class to support navigation to the hero detail component. Oh yeah, I did that. I just did that. I don't know if I needed anything else though. Alright, so I'm going to move some content out of the component file. Okay. What about with the uppercase pipe? Notice that the hero's name is displayed in capital letters. That's the effect of the uppercase pipe that we slipped into the interpolation body. Look for it right after the pipe operator. Yep. Pretty way to format streams, currency amounts, dates, and other displays. Angular ships with several pipes, and we can write our own So pipes were they were filters and I think they were called filters in Angular 1.3. They're calling them pipe functions. Pipes. They're just calling them pipes. Okay, we are not done. We still have to update the component class to support navigation to heroes new when the user clicks the view details button. This component file is already big and most of it is either template or CSS. It's difficult to find the component logic amidst the noise of HTML or CSS. Let's migrate the template and the styles to their own files before we make any more choices. Cut and paste the template contents into a new heroes.component.html. Agreed. HTML. Heroes component. Alright, so that's that. And style URLs, I'm going to put my own CSS file as well. Alright, and style now becomes app. And style URLs. That's template URL. Like that. Okay. Okay, so they've done it when they're routing to the details page, they've done it that way. I did mine a little differently. I went link equals hero detail and then I passed the object with the ID in it. They're doing the same thing. The only difference is they're doing it in one call, whereas I'm not. I'm doing it in two calls. I'm not on 2 lines. Okay, so they're saying that this should now work and everything should be pretty cool. And right now it's not. It's totally broken on this one. What's broken about it? Hero app / heroes.component.html. I'm gonna check. Yeah, by name. I'm just going to pause this one more time because I'm having another break here. So, and also my code's not working. I'm going to work out what that is and come back and tell you what the actual problem was. Hey guys, back now. Found out what the problem was. When I saved the heroes component.html file, I actually spelt it wrong. Which is always the way when you make mistakes. It's always the most fundamental things you do wrong. But I spelt it horo instead of hero, so that's what happened. Unfortunately, a bit silly on my part, but all good. Now we can actually come back to the heroes page and we can click on it and it passes it down and we can view through and go back and do all this kind of stuff. Alright. The code itself is all down to just code now. CSS is in a separate file. The HTML is a separate file. Just as we like it. Just the way I wanted it in the first place. Obviously they wanted to get there slowly. The only other thing we haven't put into a file is the app component. The main code there. But they might get to that in the end. I think dashboard 1 has it, yep. The hero details component has it in its own file. You've got your services, yeah, that's pretty much all the files, all the components. So, so now it's all working, and I think the only thing left remaining is component. The only thing left remaining in this exercise, I would assume, is styling the dashboard, I would say. So, and that's what it looks like it's talking about now. So, the app is a functional but pretty ugly. Our creative designer team provided some CSS files to make it look better. A dashboard with style. So I think we should display dashboard heroes in a row of rectangles. They're given us 60 lines of CSS for purpose, including some simple media queries for responsive design. If we paste these 60 lines into a component styles metadata, they completely obscure the component logic. Let's not do that. It's easier to edit CSS in a separate .css file anyway. So add a dashboard.component.css file. So let's spell this right this time. So dashboard.component.css. That's what they want. Dashboard, yep, okay, save. And now I'll go and grab the CSS that's down here. The dashboard.component.css tab here. We'll grab all this and paste it here. Alright, it's all good. Save that. Now we'll go to the dashboard. So let's find the file. Dashboard component.ts. And we'll add in, style URLs. An array. And it's app/dashboard.component.css. If I save that now, style should be a lot nicer on the original page. I'll go back to it, go dashboard. There you go, look. Quite nice, sort of. And it should be responsive as well, they say. Well, it sort of is. It's flexible. Somewhat. It's somewhat responsive. It's a fluid grid, so if I click on one of these now, it goes back, from that, it goes back. Right, and the last bit was, so it was the dashboard, and then the last one is the hero section. So I'm going to create another component CSS file. So I'm going to copy the name so I don't make a mistake. I'll do it twice. And, oops. File, save as that. Then we'll go over here. We'll copy all the CSS from here. Copy. Over here. Paste. Oops. Paste. Save. And then, as a final thing to do, I'd say we got a hero detail component. We bring that into play. And we just add the style sheet here. So style URLs is equal to the array of app slash hero dash detail dot component CSS. Save. And if I'm correct on Monday, I haven't gone through all the styling yet, but hopefully that makes the form page look a little nicer too. Right, so it's that. And now if I go and click on one of these, oh yeah, it definitely looks a lot nicer. It's not brilliant, but it does look okay. Not too bad. And what's the last section? Details component, that's the one we just did. Alright, so we're going to style the navigation links next. So we have app.component.css now. Oops. I'm going to save another one, file, save as app.component.css. Right, we're going to go here, we're going to copy all this. There's no CSS course, guys, so I'm not going to spend time looking at the CSS. App component TS, this I will. The template's still in here at this stage. But now I want to go style URLs. App slash app.component.css. Comment, close that off, save. And that should fix the buttons here, and they do. So that looks a lot nicer up here. Right. Cool. And the last bit. Just the global application styles. When we add styles to a component, we give you everything a component needs, HTML and CSS to code, together in one convenient place. It's pretty easy to package it all up and reuse the components somewhere else. We can also create styles at the application level outside of any component. Our designers provide some basic styles to apply the elements across the entire app. Add the following to the list, to the styles.css, okay. Rightio, so if I copy this, yeah, I'm pretty sure I already had styles.css here. Yep. There we go, let me paste this, save it. Do it again. Nice. And at the end of the day, guys, functionality is working. That's what we're here for. I'm pretty sure I've already referenced that in the HTML file. Just in case I haven't, just check. Yeah, styles.css is already in there. So look at that now. Application structure. Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff in there now. Yep. The road behind. We travel a great distance in this chapter. We add the Angular component router to navigate among different components. We learn how to create router links to represent navigation menu items. We use router parameters to navigate with details of the user selected hero. We share the hero service. Remove HTML, CSS, edit component file in their own files. And we add application pipes for format data. The road ahead. We have much of the foundation we need to build an application. We're still missing a key piece, remote data access. In the forthcoming tutorial chapter, we'll place our mock data with data retrieved instead of using HTTP. Alright guys, that's the end of this session. Very long one, but it was a lot covered. As you can see, it's not just routing, even though they put it all into routing. Yeah, I'm going to have a quick look at the rest of this, but I think from here going on, like, it's going to be more... I guess I could go through some of this too. As long as they give good examples and yeah, so they give us good examples. As long as they continue to do that, I can continue to go through these lists of basic ideas and examples. Because there's a lot of stuff here that'd be quite important to understand. But for this session, I'm going to let it go. Sorry, it's been a very long one. Obviously, there's a lot of work there. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, and you also know that not every developer is perfect and they make mistakes. So, but they're able. Any smart developer is able to recover what they've done wrong. So that's an important factor as well. So, yeah. So I'll see you in the next session. Bye for now.